Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ian I Explores. Today we're going to take a look at the industries around the Doughty Road area, okay, which will include Osmonds and various other ones. So let's go and have a look. We're the Angley Recreation Ground, okay, but quickly before I get there, quickly spin this round. In here, where this car park is, there was a drill hole right at the end before you went right under the two bridges that was there at the time. Obviously the Grimsby South Railway has been dismantled quite a long time ago. Okay, so I'm now stood on Moss Road, which I will be back to shortly to talk about some of the one of the factories that was down here, which is known as Osmonds, but we'll be back here shortly. Okay, so we've now come up to the Angley Street Recreation Ground. Now, there's been a lot of things happening here. Yes, I have been here before, but I know it was a graveyard, okay, I get that, it was. But before all that, there was things on here like chemical works, sewage works, etc., which I'll mention a bit later on. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is there was two chapels on here. Okay, mortuary chapels. One was the mortuary chapel of the Church of England, and the other one was the mortuary chapel of the Nonconformists. And the year we're talking about is 1887. Okay, and where I've just walked in, where that tree is, there was a lodge house there. Okay, so you'd have come in possibly through there. So that's where it was, a lodge house. That's where the person probably looking after the graveyards was, you know, make sure maintaining it, this, that, and a bit like a caretaker if you like. Okay, some other things I'm going to mention before we get on. Turn the camera around back to Doughty Road. Okay, there's a few streets and a few terraces names. I've got them here. Phoenix Street, Abbey Cottages, Graham Terrace, Alexa Terrace, I think that says, or Alex Terrace, Jasper Terrace, Amelia Terrace and King Terrace. It was all in that area where the camera's pointing now. Okay, so that's where they was. So if any of you remember that, it'd be very good. And there's also the almshouses, there's two rows of them still standing, which we'll take a look at shortly. Okay, so I did mention the drill hole before, and the year on that one is 1887. And that on the back of that was Peppercorn Walk, which I have done before on a few videos. Okay, so turning the camera around again, Moss Road Power Station, which had cooling towers, and I remember seeing them. Okay, and also in this area here, where the cemetery was at the time, I think, unless it was changed to something else, there was a refuse destructor, Grimsby Corporation, and that was behind that edge there. Okay, and also there was a lot of railways in this area as well. So let's move on a bit further. Okay, so because there was a lot of industry and everything else in that area there, the railway ran off the Grimsby to Louth Railway, which is over in that direction there, which is now Peaks Parkway, where the camera's pointing. They all ran into this area here, where all these new modern buildings are today. But yeah, in there was a lot of things going on. And also, in this very park where I'm stood, and over in that direction, was the sewage works. Like I said, there was many things happened in this park. Well, recreation ground, should I say. Now, whether or not they was there before the cemetery, I can't really find that out, but also on the maps, on some of them, the sewage works was there at the same time as the cemetery was. I'm going to head over to the almshouses now, and I'm going to go down the side of them and show you where the Osmonds was and, you know, the electric power station used to be, because it's still used as a big substation, because you can hear it as you walk past. 1905 in the Angley Street Rec, where I'm still stood, it must have been very smelly, because as I said, there was a sewerage works down here, but it actually was a pumping station, so you would have rarely smelt bad in this area at the time. And that was where I just pointed the camera. I forgot to mention that bit, but I have now. Towards where the bingo hall is now, I can't remember what that's called, to where the Tickler's factory was, off Sheepfold, off the corner of Sheepfold and Pasture Street corner. Okay, and on that corner I've just mentioned, there was a malt house as well, so you can see there's a lot of things. You've got the jam making, and you've got a malt house there as well, plus the gas works, plus all the sewage works around here. It must have smelt really bad around here at the time, because obviously they wouldn't have environmental filters and things like that back in them days like they do now. I mean, if you go to put your rubbish in, you know, on Moody Lane, wherever it is, Moody Lane, you know what I mean, where you take your rubbish in your car, the fish meal factories across the road. I remember that smelling really bad, but it doesn't now, because they've got obviously filters on it and everything else. So we're going to go back down Doughty Road. Okay, let's go. Hey, as I was mentioning, all them names of them terraces and things like that, Phoenix Street, etc. I'll turn this camera around in a minute. There's a lot of people walking around. I'm going to go across the road. But there was all in this area here, which you can see all these new houses. Now, Peppercorn Walk still kept its name, because I've seen it further along here. But as for the other ones, the terrace names, I don't know if they have or not, without actually walking around there. But I've just seen across there, it says Peppercorn Walk and a number on it of people's houses, etc. But this area must have been absolutely full of life back in the day. You could imagine it, all them smells I was just mentioning and all the rest of it. So I'm going to go down the side of Moss Road now, and I'm going to tell you what was down there. We're coming up to it. I did put it on further on here, what I was going to do. And we're going to have a look at the plaque on the side of the almshouses over the road there. Okay, so I'm now on Moss Road. Okay, so in this area here, where all that is in there now, that used to be the electrical works. Okay, that was in there. It's obviously all changed, and it's obviously moved, because if you look over there, that is now the substation. That's where that is. You can see it in there. I'll just zoom in a little bit there. Okay, and also down here was Osmond's in this area. Now, according to my maps and things and everything else, it was all in this area here. The electrical works still was in there. Also, there was a great big power station, and I think this was in this area over here somewhere. A lot of history around here. So any of you work down here, Osmond's, the power station, or even if you're a time traveller, you might have worked in the Grimsby Corporation Electrical Works, or even the destructor where they got rid of the rubbish, or the sewage works over in that direction. Okay, that's a bit of humour, so let's move on to the next bit. So I've now moved down to look at this plaque on the wall, which tells you all about the almshouses, okay? I'll read the numbers out. It's 1837 to 1897, so if you want to pause this and read that, you can do, but carry on watching the video after. Okay, let's move on. So I'm now walking down the side of where the Grimsby to Louth Railway was. Now this is I don't know if this is a later thing or was here at the time, this wall or built. You can see there's windows in it, look. They've been filled in. Now, whether or not that was part of the Osmonds or the power station, I'm not really sure. But we are coming up to where the power is now. It's still here, so it must have come in at the same place as where the power station was. And obviously nowadays, is it Drax? I think it is, isn't it? One of the power stations, or nuclear, or it was coal back in the day. So where we're going now is we're actually, think of yourself back in them days, we're going under here, which is now the Peaks Parkway, is up there, and we're going through that tunnel there. Okay, and if you came out of this in 1887, the other side, you would have seen the gasworks and all the railways associated with it, and also later on in the same area would have been the Tickler's Jam, which we're going to come up to shortly, in the same area. So as you can imagine, the area around here was absolutely full of industry, really full of industry. You can't imagine it, can you? That how all this industry was only one, well, area. So I'm going to turn this camera around now, and the gasworks was actually in there where B&Q is, in the same area, which we're going to walk down there shortly, off Sheepfold Street, corner of Pasture Street. So I mentioned there was a malt house there. Okay, and this was all in 1905. So you're looking in that area there, which we're going to go through shortly. I'll walk a bit further up. So just come down from walking under there. Okay, it's all in this area. Again, a lot of things in this area. Some of these walls down here may be original, but we're going to go this way. Okay, we're going to go to Sheepfold Street, which is past all this lot, so let's go down there. Okay, walking down here today, you can't imagine it. I mean, great big gasometers, the smells of steam trains, the coal and all the rest of it, you know, bellowing smoke out of all these factories. I know obviously it's as the Industrial Revolution age and that, and caused a lot of environmentalism, we all probably know, but yeah, that's what it was like then. So I'm just going to turn this round because we're approaching Sheepfold Street, although the edge is sort of widening, but it's under there. Okay, so we're going to walk down here now. Okay, so the gas works is behind me at B&Q, and where this bingo wall is was actually the Tickler's Jam. Now I guess it must have been, you know, obviously some of you that worked there are still around, because it was, I think it was a 60s or 50s, something like that. I'm not entirely sure of the dates, I didn't really research it, but I know it was here quite recently before they knocked all this down. But now, as you can see, it's a massive bingo wall and the usual car park. There, that's Bowling Green Lane. Now, from what I've seen and what I've read, there was an actual manor house off Pasture Street, because pasture meaning pasture land, grazing for animals, sheep, etc. If that bowling green was actually here when the manor house, which was over there, okay, not that, over the road. I mean, that was in the very, very early, I think 18th century, so late 17th, I believe. Okay, so the malt house I mentioned, if I go in here, I'm just going to step down this, my age is not advisable, look. So in this area here, see across that was the banana place here, there was a Maltins right on the corner of Pasture Street and Sheepfold Street. Okay, so we've come to the end of another video. If you enjoyed that one, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers to the channel. I really do appreciate it, and for all you watching my content, I really do appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and on that note, I will see you all next time on the next video. Bye for now.